Thank you very much. So we'll get straight into it. A lot of people talk about manufacturing but don't really understand what manufacturing is. So I'll give a couple of slides on explaining what I mean when I'm talking about manufacturing and advanced manufacturing. So Paul Cooper's my name, and I head Horizon 2 Capital Partners. I'm also chairman of the Advanced Manufacturing Growth Centre, and I am chairman and owner of a number of manufacturing businesses in Australia that are global. So manufacturing, people think of manufacturing as production. Manufacturing is more than production. So manufacturing, 50% of the roles, 50% of the jobs in manufacturing are outside the production part of manufacturing. Think of, people say Apple. Now everyone says, yeah, sure, Apple makes the iPhone. Apple does not make the iPhone. Apple works in the other 7 phases of the manufacturing value chain, what we call the smiley curve. The smiley curve, the vertical axis on the smiley curve is where the value is added in the manufacturing cycle. And the horizontal is the phases of manufacturing. So R&D is manufacturing. Design is manufacturing. Logistics is manufacturing. How do you get your components to the factory to make the product? That's logistics. That's part of manufacturing. Then on the outside, you've got the production part of it. In Apple's case, only 5% of the value add of an Apple iPhone is made in the production phase, and they don't even do the production. That's done by Foxconn, and obviously it's going to change very shortly. It won't be Apple, it'll be another company. The iPad is made in Vietnam, the iPhone is made in China, and that's going to change shortly. So the value in the production is a very small part of the value in manufacturing. Then you go into delivery. You've got to get your product to the market quickly, efficiently, and at low cost. And then you've got sales. You've got to be able to sell your product at the end of it. Think of the Apple beautiful glass stores all around the world. And the servitization. Where does Apple make most of its money? Servitization and R&D, the 2 ends of the value chain. That's what we talk about when we're talking about advanced manufacturing. Advanced manufacturing is not what you make, it's how you make it. Advanced manufacturing, think of some of the projects through AMGC, my role at AMGC, that we invested in. One of them makes bicycle tyres, bicycle wheels. Is that advanced manufacturing? It's a wheel. It's been around a long time. Yes, it is, because it's carbon fibre. It's used by Olympians. It's used by people in high-value bikes around the world, bicycles around the world. So it's not what you make, it's how you make it. Where Australia is globally is unfortunate, to say the least. We are currently sliding on their Global Economic Complexity Index of what we make in Australia and export. We were, if you go back to 1990, we were 55th of 132 countries in the world. We are now 93rd in the world in our complexity of what we make in Australia and sell. We've got to address that. We have to fix that. We've got to change that for Australia, and there are ways to do that. I often refer back to Toronto Olympics. Australia walked away from the Toronto Olympics with 5 medals, no gold. New Zealand had 4 medals and 1 gold. We were devastated because New Zealand beat us. We did something about it in 1976. We formed Institute of Sports. We put money into it. We developed prime programs for cycling, for basketball. We did them for athletics. We developed it because it mattered to us. We were embarrassed by it globally, and we did something about it. And now we're always in the top 5. And people go, fantastic, we've done this for sport. Why the hell can't we do this for manufacturing? We are a smart country. So through AMGC and through the work that we're doing with H2CP, we are investing in manufacturing in Australia to turn this around. We can do it. So that chart on the right is part of the Harvard Economic Complexity Index, and it looks at what Australia exports, and it's all brown. So there is ICT in there, but we dig it and ship it. When we get down, if you keep going down into the areas where we actually make something, the first thing we actually make and sell is wine. Cool. All right. So How complex is that? We need to build up our manufacturing industry in Australia, and we are capable of doing it. I see some amazing manufacturers. Some of the projects we invested in, and the reason why I'm mentioning these is it's important to see how we can transform manufacturing with small amounts of money. So first one up there is Savic Motorcycles. They are looking to raise about $5 million to take it to the next level. They're already producing electric motorcycles in Australia. Alpha HPA. Alpha, we gave them $500,000 seed money through a government grant, where they co-invested, and it was very early stage. Alpha HPA, they were our first. This is 5 years ago. $500,000. They topped $1 billion on the Australian Stock Exchange, listed A4N. A4N, alpha, 4 digits, purity, A4N. And Alpha produce high purity aluminium for things like diodes. That is advanced manufacturing. 500,000 government investment turned into other seed funding. It proved the technology, de-risked the project, and then they listed, and they're currently just short of 900 million in value. They passed $1 billion briefly, and 900 million. Another one's Graphene Manufacturing Group in Queensland. We gave them $500,000. They've proved the technology. They're now producing battery technology and other thermally controlled products. And they're listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange at the moment, just on 300 million Canadian dollars. These projects, small amounts of money that are producing very large returns. So this is how we amplify investments from government money, but I'll move on to other things that we're doing. So Horizon 2, group of 5 of us got together. I met Andrew Liveris when I was on the Ministers' Roundtable for Manufacturing, and Andrew also was a very good friend of Jens Gernemann. So there's 5 of us. Andrew Liveris, if the name's familiar, he formed the Liveris Foundation in Australia, former global head of Dow Chemical. He has been advisor to the US government for over 20 years, including Obama, and then headed Trump's manufacturing strategy, Make America Great Again. And then he got sacked by Trump, and he holds that as a badge of honor. He then got reappointed. He got reappointed by Joe Biden to Build Back America. And he is co-chair of the Build Back for America program, co-chair. He's also on the board of Aramco, third largest company in the world, chairman of Lucid Motors, chairman of Avonix, and chairman of the Bristol 32 Olympic Committee. He's a busy guy. But I went to him and said, this is what my plan is for Australia to invest in manufacturing. Would you be on my investment committee to look at some of these manufacturers? He says, Paul, no, I won't do that. If I'm in, I'm all in. I want to be in, I want to be a partner, I want to be an investor. I'm along for the ride. I believe in what you're doing. Let's go and do this. And my money's in as well. So we've gone through, we've got myself, me, Dr. Jens Gernemann, his CEO of the AMGC, former head of Airbus Australia, former German PhD in economics out of Hamburg University. Richard Palmer. Richard was with the NZVIF, so the 2 Kiwis on the right, NZVIF, and the other guy was part of the Trade Commission in New Zealand, very well connected with Australian manufacturers. So what we're doing is we've just closed a deal. We've bought a company called Land of Plenty. If you go onto a Qantas flight in the afternoons, you'll get the Land of Plenty food. My apologies for that. Just great food, sorry. Apologies for Qantas. Get onto the plane, we do in-flight food for Qantas, we do pre-flight food for Virgin, we do food for most of the stadiums around Australia, and we're going to take that company from sub 20 million to 150 million. And we can do that through tuck-ins that we've already done. So we closed in August, we've already done 2 tuck-ins, one in Australia, one in New Zealand, bringing it in. We're selling to Woolies, we're selling to home delivery foods as well. We bought in at multiples of 3.5, and already that is significant, and the value is rising rapidly. We've got another one at the moment we're about to close on. I met with them yesterday, gave them an update on my due diligence. Fantastic company. I hope I didn't put the name in there. No, I didn't, because we've signed an NDA. But the company is in identity technology, biometric identity. If you go into the Emirates, you arrive in the Emirates, they've got 100,000 of these pieces of equipment where the swipe card passes you through digital identity, facial scan, iris scan, fingerprint scan, card reader, all of this on the one device connected to the government in the UAE. If you want to buy a phone anywhere in the Emirates, Do Telecom or Etisalat, you go on one of our devices to clear it. So it's a fantastic product rolling out globally, and we've got two other companies that we want to tuck into that particular acquisition. One in actually both in Dandenong, Bayswater, Dandenong, and they're in Simla. There's a Venn diagram overlap, and we want to take them very rapidly to a large scale, global scale. This is how we can transform Australian manufacturing. That's what advanced manufacturing is in 10 minutes or less. Thank you very much.